Hello everyone, let's talk about the end times, more specifically when we can expect that DLC, because it is dreadfully quiet, isn't it? The last real information being around the end of April, it's been really quiet, keeping to Creative Assembly's usual MO. Still, people are exciting and wanting more information, especially as big name characters are being confirmed. Nagash and Boris Todbringer are both characters that everyone's been wanting for quite some time now, and there's pretty much educated guesses on what the others can be too. Now, Creative Assembly have consistently stated that they've got plans to release the end times during summer for this year. Summer officially starting on June 21st, so next week, and ends on the 23rd of September, which, I mean, we know Creative Assembly, they like to take their time. The 23rd is also a Wednesday, so they could release it the week prior on the 18th. This is something that's very common. When Creative Assembly say a particular season, always expect near the end. There's a good reason for that. Right now, we've only had confirmation regarding Nagash, Boris Todbringer, and the FLC Legendary Lord, Neferata. There's still two other characters missing, and while we do have a little bit of information of what units we can expect, as they did confirm like one or two, they've still yet to do their blogs detailing like mechanics and styles, the rest of the roster, for any of the lords so far. This all falls under their usual hype building marketing schemes, which generally start before they start doing gameplay and before they start giving it to content creators to do their thing. In fact, this is something that they could have started already, because usually per faction you could end up getting, what, 1, 2, sometimes 3 blogs? Not even counting the stuff that's expected for the end times. We know that there's stuff like Devastation, hopefully some map changes, and obviously the Archeon rework. So unless Creative Assembly are still in the drawing board section when it comes to this DLC, which would be rather concerning given what time it is already, they could have already started hype building it to get things moving. Now, there's a clear reason why they're not doing that. We still don't have 8.1, the fabled AI rework that has been talked about so constantly. I think people are just starting to forget that the AI rework is supposed to be a patch. Here's hoping at least Creative Assembly haven't forgotten, right? So that's supposed to be the next major patch after Beshiva, which released on the 26th of May. That's the small character pack, which I don't think has performed too well. But that was expected. It didn't bring a lot to the table, and there wasn't really a big patch attached to that. But when it comes to stuff like that, when a DLC releases, usually a patch after that, so a 0.1 or 0.2, takes around, on average, a month and a half, leading to it being maybe mid-July until we see the AI rework, which if then things keep to the usual average, a month and a half after that, would be, well, pretty much end of September, and that would be the end of summer. So you see why I already said end of September by the time that they announced the end times. It just kind of made sense. I mean, hey, at least it's not a year between DLCs, but it's still not ideal considering the glacial pace that things have been moving lately. But that's not counting the potential for a delay to the DLC. As of course, 40k isn't coming this year, we know that there's a beta coming, so they've got some time to work around stuff. And when it came to Tides of Torment, when they stated multiple times that it was going to come around summer or autumn, and then, yeah, but it got delayed. Like, this is what happens, right? Game design, they came out with a thing saying they go, well, it wasn't too up to snuff to what they wanted, and that's all fair. Delays are good if it's going to be better. I mean, Tides of Torment isn't an amazing DLC. It's still better than Omens of Destruction, at least. And even then, I think Omens had a delay. And these are just the delays that are publicly spoken about. Who knows what's been happening inside Creative Assembly offices, because just because something's been delayed publicly doesn't mean it hasn't been delayed a number of times internally too. So let's talk about best and worst case scenarios, because yeah, I got it right last time, which is kind of disappointing. Obviously, the Siege rework so far as we're aware, well, what Creative Assembly have showcased is basically what the beta was. So the fact that it's waiting until after the end times is kind of disappointing. So kind of expected. This is their usual cadence. AI rework in July, end times DLC in September. So a month and a half in between, right? This means mid-July for the rework, end of September or close to the end for the DLC, and then this is where it gets a bit weird. If they continue that cadence, then it's going to have to be either November or December. It should be November, but Creative Assembly would want to wait and give something for people to play around with during Christmas, you know, so that's usually how it goes for the Siege rework. This, if it keeps to the month and a half cadence. All right, and let's put a worst case scenario at the bottom, which is a little bit different, okay? So, in July, there's an event happening in China. This is Billy World. It's a big gaming show. And we do know that CA is going to be there with artwork for 40k, right? So, usually Creative Assembly don't like the whole cross-promotion thing, in the sense of they can't, well, it's been proven in previous years, they can't promote multiple titles at once. I don't know why. Maybe it's just bad planning or whatever. So it could just be like July will focus on that, with August being the AI rework, but it still could end up being around July too. If the case that the AI rework is fully done, we did get a few AI fixes in the most recent hotfix. Mind you, that hotfix did break a bunch of stuff too, so this is where things get a little bit weird, right? I could imagine the DLC being announced in September, and that's when they'll go, oh yeah, we have to do a delay because it's not up to snuff. I think this is actually more or less what happened for Tides of Torment, actually. Then the release could be in October, which very rare, I guess, to do something with Warhammer Day, but could be something there just to kind of get the hype going, and then November being quiet because, you know, GTA. Or in the possible worst case scenario, the DLC releases in December, just like Tides of Torment did, which they'll use the excuse of, you know, this is larger than Tides of Torment, it's our biggest DLC ever, blah, 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 blah. Which, I mean, if everything works as intended, sure, why not? And I'm expecting it to be as good as possible if they sound so confident so far, but they did sound very confident for Tides of Torment, and the balancing there was kind of atrocious. There was also pretty bad game-breaking bugs and stuff, like, well, just omitted scenarios, like if you lost the Pleasure Palace and you wouldn't be able to get one back, so you had to restart your campaign. Same thing with the colonies of Aisling. It's stuff that a lot of people won't deal with, but a lot of people did. The newer players or the ones who don't know how to play Sinesh or High Elves, yeah, they would have those issues. It was kind of weird that the soft lock made it into the final product, but who knows? Who knows what's going on with testing? So I'm just kind of thinking about this, and this is why I wanted to make the video, because it's been quiet, right? I understand that they used Beshiva as a means of, hey, here's something, but I don't think Beshiva was enough. The joining patch didn't really rework anything for Cafe, which meant that there wasn't really a lot of content for people to play around with. Thankfully, there's a lot of stuff going on for Warhammer games. You know, the Rogue Trader DLC has just launched. There's stuff like the Skitari coming out very, very soon. All that stuff is really exciting. Also, that means that the DLC gets delayed. Then my original hypothesis of a potential delay for the Siege rework could come in. I don't see them both coming out at the same time. But yeah, let me know what you guys think on the comments below. Let's have a bit of a discussion. I do apologize, like I've been kind of sporadic. I did say I was going to be more active lately, but then yeah, no, I'm not going to lie. I had a little bit of a health scare, which scared the crap out of me, I'm not going to lie. But turns out not a big deal. It was a false reading, I guess. The NHS is a freaking joke, let me just put it that way. But with all that being said, you know, I'm back. I'm a bit more relaxed, and I'm actually sleeping again, which is great. So we will see a lot more content coming out. Keep an eye out for the table build. I should be having that this week, depending if the last stuff gets delivered. Because, yeah, the power tools arrived, but only half of them. Great. Have a good one, guys. I'll see you all again very, very soon.